Yeah, good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, in the last class we have seen about Aneka and its framework. This is the basically the logical view of the Aneka. It will act as a middleware. This we have seen. It will provide several programming models to support, like thread programming, task programming, map reduce programming, like that. Several programming it will support, for which it will provide SDK and runtime, and it is a middleware on top of heterogeneous resources, computing resources or storage resources. Yeah. Next, this is the like layered model. At the bottom layer, we will be having the infrastructure. On top of it, platform abstraction layer called PAL, and on top of it, Aneka will be having. There, several services will be offered. Fabric services, foundation services, execution or application services will be having, and we have seen all these. Next, basically this Aneka will provide a platform as a service, and these are the services provided by Aneka: elasticity and scaling, runtime management, resource management, application management, user management, and SLA or QoS management and billing. These are the services provided by Aneka. Basically, what is Aneka? It is a cloud application development platform. By using this, we could able to build cloud applications by writing some programs. Like we can write multi-threaded program or task programming or map reduce programming. By writing these, we could able to utilize this Aneka platform in order to develop cloud applications. That's it. Okay. Next, anatomy of Aneka container. Here we have seen what is meant by container. Container is nothing but the unit of deployment in Aneka clouds. Just it's like a software layer. We will be having some supporting service, supporting infrastructure associated with it. That is nothing but container. So a main role of container is to provide lightweight environment in which to deploy services and some basic capabilities such as some networking. All these things will be provided. That is about a container. Next, we have seen these three types of services: fabric services, foundation services, application services. And before discussing these, we have seen PAL, called platform abstraction layer, which will sit on top of the underlying operating system and hardware. What it will provide is, it will provide uniform view of the software and hardware environment in which the container is running. Like we'll be having a container. That container, for that container, this PAL will provide uniform view of the software and hardware environment. So that is the functionality of PAL. And what are the features it will provide is uniform and platform independent implementation interface for accessing the hosting platform. For accessing the hosting platform, it will provide interface. Next, for accessing the additional properties of the hosting platform, it will provide interface. And for accessing remote nodes, it will provide interface. Next, for accessing platform independent management interfaces, it will provide. It will be provided by PAL. Okay, this PAL is a layer on top of the underlying operating system and hardware, that you remember. What to whom this PAL will provide services is for the containers, that you remember. What is meant by container? Just lightweight software layer associated infrastructure. We can consider as a container. Okay. So now, yeah. So here PAL is a small layer on top of the underlying operating system and hardware. And we have discussed one thing called here. We will be having a detection engine, right? We will be having a detection engine which automatically configures the container. This detection engine will configure the container at boot time with the platform specific component to access whatever the information it requires. It could able to provide to the container. Okay. At the time of booting itself, it will configure the container by accessing all this information. Okay. This is about PAL, and what sort of information it could able to provide is number of cores, frequency, CPU usage, size and memory size and usage, disk space, and other devices attached to the node. These all will be collected and will be kept ready by the PAL, platform abstraction layer. Okay. Next, coming to the services, there are 3 types of services, right? What are those? Yes, 3 types of services provided by Aneka are please respond.
Execution services, foundation services, and fabric services.
Yeah, fabric services, foundation services, execution services. These are the 3 types of services. Coming to the fabric services, this is lowest level of software stack. Whatever the service stack that we have, services stack, like we are having fabric service, then on top of it a foundation service, then execution services. So execution services. So in this particular stack, this is the lowest level. Okay, at lowest level we'll be having fabric services which will be communicating to the PAL. PAL will be here, which will be on top of infrastructure. And infrastructure in the sense what you call the underlying operating system and hardware. Okay, and here it will provide basically 2 types of things: resource provisioning services and monitoring services. Here, resource provisioning services are in charge of dynamically providing new nodes on demand, okay, by relying on virtualization technologies. Monitoring services allow hardware profiling, monitoring infrastructure. Okay, these are the 2 types of services under fabric services: source provisioning, monitoring. In this monitoring, we'll be having profiling things that we'll see. Profiling and monitoring. In this, basically, we'll make use of a heartbeat protocol. Heartbeat we have seen, right? Makes the available information that is collected through the PAL. Heartbeat periodically collects the dynamic performance information about the node and publishes this information to the membership service. Okay, heartbeat is it's like periodically it will sense the data, it will collect the data, and that information will be transferred to the membership service, so that whenever new request comes, it will be serviced according to the information provided by this protocol. Okay, that is what the functionality of heartbeat. Next, we have seen about index node. What is the index node? Index node will maintain entire data related to the Aneka, which will be accessed whenever some service is requested. Index node will be contacted then accordingly the resource reservations, scheduling, all these things will be performed. This is what the functionality of index node. Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Next, monitoring and reporting. This will provide a generic infrastructure for monitoring the activity of any service in the Aneka cloud. Next, this basically some built-in services are provided here: membership catalog, execution service, scheduling service, storage service, resource provisioning service. These all will be built-in, are by default available in the Aneka cloud. Membership catalog tracks the performance information of nodes. This is very important service provided by Aneka. Membership catalog. This only will provide entire information. It's like index node core is this membership catalog. Index node without this membership catalog, it cannot do anything. So now these information about these all will be stored in RDBMS. Okay, all the information discussed above can be stored on a relational database management system or a flat file. I told you to get the information about flat file, right? In the last class. Yes. Any answers? What is meant by flat file? Or any example? Yeah, flat file. It's like what is meant by database, ma? RDBMS or DBMS. What is DBMS? Yeah, DBMS. What is meant by DBMS? Or can I make it more clear? Like, what is the difference between database and DBMS? Are these two same or not? Yeah, please respond. Yes or no. Whether those two are same or not. Database and database management system. Is Oracle is database or database management system? Or MySQL is database or database management system? Yeah, please respond.
Database.
MySQL and Oracle are databases. Then what is DBMS?
It's a management software, sir. So managing those databases.
Okay, so can you give any example for it? Actually, database will be there. Okay, in general, we will denote like this kind of representation. Actually. Yeah, this is database. On top of it, one software will be there, which will be used to store the data, retrieve the data, or to update the data. So to perform operations on this particular database, we'll be having a software. Okay, so this software is nothing but DBMS, database management system. Okay, up to this I think you are clear. This is DBMS. Now this is a data. What is this database? Database is nothing but collection of or large collection of data. That's it. That is database. Database in the sense large collection of data. Just will be having a data. That data can be stored, or inserted, or modified, or deleted, or retrieved. These all things will be taken care by this DBMS. That DBMS softwares are Oracle or MySQL or SQL Server, MongoDB. All these things are like not MongoDB. This Oracle, MySQL, these things are database management system softwares. Understand? This DBMS is nothing but those softwares which we feel like databases, but actual database is nothing but large collection of data. The data itself is database. Database management system is on top of database. We'll be having a software. By using that, we'll be performing operations on this particular database. That we call it as DBMS. Examples are Oracle, MySQL, SQL Server, all this. Clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Now, flat file. What is meant by flat file? I'll tell you one just some examples of these flat files. Then you explore on it. Just if you store any information in the notepad, with what extension by default it will be stored? In your notepad, if you open your notepad and type some information and store it, okay, save it, with what extension that file will be saved?
.txt.
.txt. That is an example of flat file. .txt file is a flat file. Next, if you store if you have like a .csv file, you might be knowing, right? .csv file. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, CSV file is comma separated values, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that .csv file can also be considered as flat file. Okay, like, these are the examples of flat file. Then you try to explore why it is called as flat file. Okay. Next, again, if I remember, I'll ask in the next class what is a flat file. Yeah. Next, resource management. One sort of a fabric service is profiling and monitoring. Another one is resource management, right? In this resource management, there will be three tasks: resource membership, resource reservation, resource provisioning. These three will be provided by these services. Okay, index service, which is nothing but membership catalog. Next, reservation service and resource provisioning service. Aneka provides these three services. Okay, these three tasks will be achieved by these three services. Okay, membership catalog. We have seen this membership catalog. What it will contain? Basic services. It's like what is the what are the nodes containing in this particular what you call container? Basic node information for all the nodes that are connected or disconnected. Membership catalog implements basic services of a directory service. These all things will be stored in a directory kind of thing, and there will be having information related to all the nodes. Next, yeah, during container startup, each instance publishes its information to the membership catalog and updates it constantly during its lifetime. Periodically, it will update. Each container, when it is starting, it will give the information. It will publish its information to membership catalog. It's like entire list. We have discussed this with respect to Amazon, right? Membership catalog. All the products which are being offered, those all will be provided as a catalog. Like we can say ICFI brochure, if you consider, there several courses, all these things will be maintained. That is nothing but catalog. So in that particular each container, while starting up, it will provide its information, and periodically it will update it. It's like ICFI Tech will update its own courses to the catalog. Next, IBS will update accordingly their courses and their status and all periodically. Similarly, Law College or some other wings will update their own information to the catalog periodically. Okay, that is what the membership catalog function. Next, services and external applications can query the membership catalog to discover available services and interact with them. Got it? I think this is trivially understandable. Next, yeah, this also we have seen with respect to distributed database. Centralized database, distributed database. What is the difference? We have discussed with respect to Amazon.in, Amazon.com, right? Amazon.com in general, it's like overall global scenario, whereas Amazon.in is Indian perspective, right? So distributed database, instead of storing the same information, entire information in one particular server, we will be distributing the data. Will be distributing or we will be storing the data across several servers, so that we can have distributed database. All queries need not go to the centralized server. Some queries can be resolved locally itself. That is what the advantage of having distributed database. Okay. Membership catalog is also the collector of the dynamic performance data of each node, which are then sent to the local monitoring service to be persisted in the long term. So it will collect the information regarding performance of each node, and this will be transferred to local monitoring service, so that it can be able to give some guaranteed performance in the long term. That is what the membership catalog working procedure. Yeah. Next, indexing service. It is used to provide how these services can be requested and can be responded. These things will be taken care by this indexing and categorizing resources. Indexing service, actually, on top of basic indexing service, provisioning completes the set of features that are available for resource management within Aneka. Here, deployment of container instances and their configuration are performed by the infrastructure management layer and are not part of the fabric service. This is independent of the fabric service. It will provide basic what you call additional indexing service in contrast to basic indexing service. What it will provide is dynamic resource provisioning. It will provide. It is not part of the fabric service in general. Next, resource provisioning is a feature designed to support QoS requirements driven execution of applications. What it will do is it serves the request coming from the reservation service or the scheduling services. We have seen like resource reservation, resource scheduling, resource provisioning, these things, right? So this resource provisioning will serve request coming from reservation service, that is resource reservation. Next, scheduling services. External applications can make use of this resource reservation capabilities by dynamically retrieving a client to the service and interacting with the infrastructure to it. So this extends resource provisioning scenarios that can be handled by Aneka. Because of this, the resource provisioning scenarios can be performed in more dynamic way, which can also be used as a virtual machine manager. This is part of resource provisioning. Next, coming to second type of services called foundation services. We have seen fabric services. Under fabric services, basically two types of services. What are those? Yeah, fabric services. Under fabric services, monitoring and profiling. Another one is fabric services having two types of services, basically resource provisioning, monitoring. Monitoring is nothing, profiling and monitoring services we have seen. Resource provisioning is another one. So after this fabric services, what we have? Foundation services. Fabric services and now foundation services. After that, we will be having foundation services. Now basically Foundation services are related to logical management of the distributed system built on top of the infrastructure. Logical management will be done by using foundation services. Okay, and provide supporting services for the execution of distributed applications. Some supporting services will be provided by these foundation services. Okay, and these are the examples of foundation services: storage management for applications, accounting, billing, and resource provisioning, resource reservation. These are the three different services provided under the category of foundation services: storage management, accounting, billing, and resource provisioning, resource reservation. Okay. Next, foundation service. It is what you call storage management. Storage management, there will be a centralized file storage which is mostly used for execution of compute intensive. There are two types of applications, we can say: compute intensive, data intensive. Like I can show you. There are two types of applications, we can say, with respect to distributed systems. There can be compute intensive applications. Another one is data intensive applications. Okay, well, the name itself indicating that what is meant by compute intensive. There we require more computation. Like I'll give you one normal example. Like I'll give one number to you. Try to understand. I'll give one number to you. For that, you have to calculate the following: like square of the number, cube of the number, n power 4, like n square, n cube, n power 4, n power 5, like that, n power up to n power 10. You have to calculate. Next, for the same number, you have to calculate square root, cube root, and for the same number, you have to calculate what are the factors. For the same number, you have to calculate what is the GCD with some other number. With GCD with some list of numbers. Okay, like that, we will be having some list of activities, list of calculations to be performed on the same number. Try to understand this. Normal example, just for understanding, I am trying to frame. Yeah, one number is given, all these operations we have to perform. This is one sort of application. Another application, we will be calculating square of a number, but the input is list of numbers. There will be plenty of numbers, like 1,000 numbers will be given. For each and every number, you have to calculate square of it. Okay, now you say which is data intensive application, which is compute intensive application. Yeah. Yeah, please respond. Shall I repeat? On some limited data, we have to perform lot of operations. That is one application. Application one, let us consider. Next, on large data, we have to perform just a small operation. Okay, just one operation we have to perform. But large data we have. So computation we are performing more in first case, first application, right? That is compute intensive application. Whereas we have large data, but computation is less. We have to perform same computation or limited computation on large collection of data. That is called data intensive applications. Okay. Now, whenever we have compute intensive application, then we prefer to use centralized file storage, centralized database, we can say. Okay. Whenever we have data intensive applications, then we will prefer distributed file system. We have large collection of data, so the data we will distribute across multiple databases or file systems, so that that computation can be performed easily. Whereas we have limited data, but lot of computations needs to be performed. Then we can have that data at a centralized database. That is accessing the data. We will not require much time. Okay, we no need to spend more time to access the data. Why? Because it is compute intensive application. Here, whenever we have data intensive application, we need to spend more time to access the data. Why? Because it is data intensive application. Understand? A large collection of data we have, we need to spend more time to access the data. In that particular case, we will prefer distributed file system. If compute intensive application is, we will prefer centralized file system. Okay, is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. The requirements for two types of applications are rather different. See here, compute intensive application mostly require powerful processors and do not have high demands in terms of storage, which in many cases is used to store small files that are easily transferred from one node to another node. In this scenario, centralized storage node or pool of storage nodes can constitute an appropriate solution. In contrast, data-intensive applications are characterized by large data files, okay, gigabytes or terabytes, and processing power required by task does not constitute a performance bottleneck. Okay, it will not affect the performance. Just processing power required is limited, so it will not affect. Even though processing power is limited, that will not affect any performance bottleneck. It will not affect performance. It is what it's. So in this scenario, distributed file system harnessing the storage space of all the nodes belonging to the cloud might be a better and a more scalable solution. Okay, this is about storage management. Next, here we will be using in general file transfer protocol (FTP), and coming to the next type of service called accounting, billing, and resource provisioning. This accounting service keeps track of the status of applications in the Aneka cloud. Just in order to keep track of what resources are held by which processes, which users, or which applications, this entire information will be maintained in the form of this entire information can be maintained through this accounting service. Okay, see here, the information collected for accounting is primarily related to infrastructure usage and application execution. A complete history of application execution and storage, as well as other resource utilization parameters, is captured and mined by accounting services. Okay, this information constitutes the foundation on which users are charged. Based upon this, users will be charged. That's why this accounting is needed. Next, billing is another important feature of accounting. Okay, Aneka is a multi-tenant. Aneka is a multi-tenant cloud platform, programming platform, in which execution of application can involve provisioning additional resources from commercial IaaS providers. This billing is another supporting service for this accounting. Okay, that is what given. Next, resource reservation. Here, Aneka provides extensible APIs, which we have discussed, right? Extensible APIs will be supported by this Aneka. This framework provides three different implementations: basic reservation, Libra reservation, relay reservation. These are the three different implementation of Aneka framework. resource pertaining to resource reservation, that you remember. Pertaining to resource reservation, there are three types of reservations: basic, Libra, and relay reservation. Basic reservation consists of just it is basic capability to reserve execution slots on nodes and implements the here this is very important protocol called alternate offers protocol. This is a protocol actually for the basic reservation. In this what it will provide is basic capability to reserve execution slots on nodes. In order to reserve the nodes, we will be using this basic reservation. Okay, if whatever the resources which we have reserved, those are not available, then alternate offers protocol we will be using, which provides alternative options in case the initial reservation requests cannot be satisfied. Okay, basic reservation is having the capability to reserve the execution slots. Okay, if those are not satisfied, then it will make use of alternate offers protocol, which will provide alternative options in case the initial reservation request not satisfied. Okay, this is about a basic reservation. Next, coming to Libra reservation. Here it represents a variation of the previous implementation that features the ability to price nodes differently according to their hardware capabilities. Libra reservation on top of this basic reservation, if you wanted to make changes, okay, to the previous implementation. Now the time is 10:09. People are trying to join now. What does it mean? I don't understand. What is the intention? Yeah, Libra reservation.
This page is not opening, sir. Because of that, we are late, sir. Now it got opened.
What? This is the link, same link, right?
Same link, but in group we have texted, sir, but you didn't have any reply, sir.
I might have started by that time, I think.
Yes, sir. At 9:40 only, I have texted, sir.
Yeah, but I have started at 9:33, I think 9:33, 9:34.
Okay, sir. Because of that issue
So,
only, we are late, sir. Sorry, sir.
okay. Because the people who are already in the class, they feel uncomfortable, right? Every time I switch to this particular screen and coming back to the slide, it will not be good to follow. That's why otherwise admitting at any time, even 10:19 also I'll admit what is there. There won't be any loss for me, but if you join in time, then it will be beneficial for you. It may be. Okay, I cannot guarantee, but some points can be interested for you, if not all. Okay. See here, the second type of reservation is a Libra reservation. What it will do is some basic reservation we have done, but in modification to that basic reservation, suppose we have to price the nodes differently according to their hardware capabilities. Then we will make use of the reservation service called Libra reservation. Okay, this is second type of reservation. Next, relay reservation. It consists. It's like there will be resource broker. Okay, this resource broker will act as the intermediate one between the nodes and the requester. Okay, whatever the what you call resources that we have, between these resources and this applications or users which requires these resources. In between, we'll be having a small software called resource broker, which will take care of, which will be having the logic with which these nodes are reserved. Okay. The relay reservation just constitute a very thin implementation that allows a resource broker to reserve nodes in Aneka clouds and control the logic with which these nodes are reserved. Okay, this is about 3 types of reservations which we will be having in Aneka. Okay, next coming to application services, there are 2 types of application service we can make, like a generalization of all the services, or all the containers will be having common services as application services. One is a scheduling service, another one is execution service. Okay, just quickly we'll go through these. Manage the execution of applications and constitute a layer that differentiate according to specific programming model used for developing distributed applications on top of Aneka. If you remember the previous layered architecture, will be having TAL, on top of it these services, on top of it will be having Aneka. That these 3 services which we have seen, fabrication, foundation, then execution services, these form actually Aneka. This is actually Aneka. On top of it will be having application. There we will be having scheduling service, execution service. Okay, the types of and the number of services that compose this layer for each of the programming models may vary according to the specific needs actually. But 2 major types of activities that are common across all the supporting models are scheduling and execution. These 2 are common for all the models. Okay, scheduling service, execution service, we will see. Scheduling services are in charge of planning the execution of distributed applications on top of Aneka, governing the allocation of nodes. This will be taken care by scheduling service. Okay, common tasks are job to node mapping, rescheduling of failed jobs, job status monitoring, application status monitoring. These are the common tasks performed by scheduling tasks. Okay, scheduling service. Next, execution service control the execution of single job that compose applications. Here, in order to accomplish one application execution, okay, in order to perform one application execution, we need to perform several jobs. We need to execute several jobs. Okay, several jobs we have to execute. These all jobs will be scheduled in scheduling service. See, job to node mapping, in the sense which job to be assigned to which node. Okay, so corresponding node, that particular job will be executed. Some jobs may be failed. When to schedule those jobs, that is rescheduling. Like this, these are the services provided by this scheduling service. Okay, next, execution service will control the execution of single jobs that compose applications. They are in charge of setting up runtime environment, hosting the execution of jobs. Okay, these are the several individual tasks which will be performed under execution services. Unpacking the jobs received from the scheduler. The previous one is scheduler, right? Unpacking the jobs received from the scheduler. Next, retrieving of input files required for job execution. Sandbox execution of jobs. Some relevant jobs can be grouped together. Those all can be executed at a time. Such kind of thing. Submission of output files at the end of execution. Execution failure management. Performance monitoring. Packing jobs and sending them back to the scheduler. These all are tasks performed by execution service. Okay, basically this application services can be classified as these 2, scheduling and execution. Scheduling, these are the tasks. Execution services, these. Okay, this is about that layered structure of Aneka and its services and all. Yeah. Next, these are the supporting models which we have seen: task model, thread model, map reduce model and parameter sweep model. This parameter sweep model is a variation of this task model. Actually, these things we'll see in the coming classes in detail. So that's why I'm not spending any more time in this. Next, coming to building Aneka clouds, there are this is Aneka cloud infrastructure overview. Here we are having Aneka cloud containers. Okay, Aneka containers we are having, and there is software called Node Manager. Okay, if you install Node Manager in one particular Aneka container, that we call it as Aneka daemon. Okay, if you install the software on any container, that particular node we call it as Aneka daemon. Okay, next here we have several Aneka containers, like here you see Aneka container and its node manager, Aneka container, node manager, Aneka container, node manager. Like this we are having several, and there is a centralized management console, okay, which will take care of all these containers and all. Okay, this is public to all. This can be the information can be accessed by any of these Aneka containers whenever there is a need. Okay, and there is a centralized repository which can be accessed by using any of these protocols, HTTP, FTP, any of these protocols. This repository, it is nothing but storage actually. This from this storage we could able to access the information whenever we require by using these protocols. Okay, this is basically Aneka cloud infrastructure overview. Logically, this is what you call architecture wise, but in other way, like logical way, we can classify Aneka cloud as a master slave architecture, master slave or master worker, master worker. Here there is one node will be designated as master node. Okay, other nodes will be worker nodes. What is the difference between master node and this worker node is there will be a service called index, and there will be a service called scheduling. Actually, scheduling will also be part of this. Okay, this node will maintain index file and also the scheduling information. Scheduling service will be provided by this node. But whereas here we'll be having index for local services. Here also index for local service, but there is no scheduling service available at worker nodes. There are two types of nodes called master node and worker nodes. Okay, worker node will not contain scheduling. If you remember, here at master node, in addition to scheduling, we will be maintaining centralized index. By using this index only, the scheduling will work. That we have seen already. Just this is a logical organization of these cloud what you call parts. Here there is another type of node called storage node. In this storage node, we will be having index, of course, local to this particular one, and storage. Here also another storage node will be having index storage. That's it. So if you consider master node contains index, scheduling, accounting, reporting, reservation, provisioning. These all we will be having in master node. Whereas in worker node, we will not be having scheduling, and local indexing we will be having. Okay. Coming to storage node, we will be having indexing in addition to storage. This is about logical organization. And if this master node fails, then there should be a backup plan, right? So that backup will be maintaining by reserving another node whenever there exists a failover. Okay, it will take care of these all worker nodes and storage nodes whenever this master node fails. That is logical organization of Aneka cloud. Okay, next coming to cloud deployment models, there are three different deployment models. Actually, three types of clouds we have seen, right? Private cloud, public cloud, hybrid cloud. Same thing as this Aneka is also a cloud deployment platform. How these private cloud, public cloud, and hybrid cloud can be can exist in Aneka. That's what we'll be having in this. Just you see, private cloud. Here, master node contains all the activity services related to scheduling, resource provisioning, resource reservation. All these things will be performed here itself. Okay, in this master node. Okay, and these clusters, workstations, desktop machines, these all are locally available. That is private cloud deployment model. It's like we have seen what is private cloud earlier. Okay, how it can be achieved in Aneka. Logically, this is the scenario. These services, resource provisioning service, resource reservation service, application management and scheduling service, these will be taken care by this master node. That is what implementation difference or implementation perspective in Aneka. Next, coming to the second one, public cloud deployment model. Here we will be having some boundaries for master and slave. Within this, we can make use of this master node will provide some services. These can be accessed by these slave nodes within these boundaries. Every service will be having some boundaries. Within these boundaries, anyone can be able to access, but after these boundaries, no, it cannot be accessible. Okay, example is Amazon EC2 instances. We can have several instances of Amazon EC2, then these all will be maintained by this master node. Although it is publicly available, who can access these resources or these services? Only the slaves or only the designated customers, isn't it? That is what public cloud deployment model in Aneka. Next, coming to the hybrid one, it's a combination, right? Local infrastructure, here master node we are having, and these all are infrastructure things, and it is like a private cloud. But here we are having public clouds. These also can be accessed. These provisioning services and all will be provided to these what you call customers or applications which require these services outside of these boundaries. Okay, that's what we can say it as hybrid cloud deployment mode. There are three types: private, public, and hybrid. Okay, these are with respect to Aneka. That's that you remember. Earlier we have seen with respect to cloud in general, but with respect to Aneka, these are the things. These are the specific to Aneka that you remember. Okay. Next, we'll be seeing in the next class how thread programming and thread programming can be used with Aneka in order to build cloud applications. Okay.